Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a 2007 Honda Civic that has an occasional no-start condition. You turn the key, doesn't do a thing. Well, sometimes it makes electrical sparking sounds and buzzing sounds, but that's all you get. If you move the key around, then it'll go ahead and start for you. Now, it's been starting just fine for me since I've had it, because whenever you bring your car to the mechanic, it always starts just fine. And then if the mechanic happens to have a camera rolling, guaranteed it's never gonna break again until he gives it back to the customer. So hop on over here. I'll see if I can duplicate the problem for you, or at least get it close, and then we'll go ahead and fix it right away. Nice, quick, easy job. Well, by some miracle, we were able to duplicate the problem, so now we can go ahead and fix it because we know what it's doing. We're only going to have to pull out 5 different Phillips screws and unclip some clips. The first set of screws are on this cover for the bottom of the steering column. There's one different one that I already took out, and these two that are up in these little holes are exactly the same. So if we mix them up, it won't matter. Nothing worse than when you think you got it all the way out and you don't. There we go. Now this piece just unclips from the top cover. At least it's supposed to. But it's cold and I don't want to break it. So we're going to rotate the steering wheel. It gives us a little room to see the top of that piece, and we can just push a screwdriver in between the openings and unclip it. Turn it the other way so we can get to the other side. Pop our screwdriver in there. Basically unclips itself. And we pull this lower shroud off of here. Wiggle it around the handle. I'm going to do it with my light. There we go. Now you guys can see what I'm doing. So there's our ignition switch on the back of the ignition lock. I'm going to just go ahead and unplug it. And it's only held on by 2 screws. Before we go ahead and pull it out of here, let's make sure the one we got from our parts store is correct. Not that a parts store would ever supply me with the wrong parts, he said with heavy sarcasm. Looks the same to me. Okay, we can go ahead and dig it out. There's a couple of Phillips screws, there's one in the back. Helps you have a little ratchet with a Phillips head on it. Get in here a little easier. Not a whole lot of room. Not even enough room for my finger in the ratchet, so I just took the bit out of the ratchet and we'll use that to spin it the rest of the way out. There's one more screw on the bottom over here. Pull the bit out again. That way we can get the rest of the screw out of here. Set that somewhere where we're hopefully not going to lose it. And our ignition switch just slides out of there. We'll give it an olfactory inspection.
It smells crispy.
Verified that it is bad. So we can go ahead and throw our new one in. We were pretty confident anyway. Now we're really confident. So we'll just slide our ignition switch in there. We got lucky and the slot on the ignition switch was lined up with the slot on the ignition lock. If it's not, you can always turn it to line it up, or just turn the key to get it to line up as you're sliding it in. We lucked out and everything was lined up, so it just slid right in. Sometimes they get moved in shipping, or they're built on a Friday and they're not in the right position. So we'll just start our screws. We're just using a little bit to get them started, give us some leverage on them. Tighten them almost all the way up. We'll put our bit back in our ratchet and torque them down to manufacturer specs. Click. Go ahead and tighten up the other one. Click. And plug our ignition switch back in. And go ahead and throw this cover back on the bottom. Probably the hardest part of the whole job. Getting that lever back through the cowling. Getting it back in its home. Once we have it clipped in where it belongs, we can start putting the screws back in it. Start with the one oddball one down here. I'm going to go ahead and clip the top piece in. It just snaps together. And we'll put our last two screws in. Make sure that we get the lever right. Our steering column still tilts. And we'll try it out. We turn it nice and slow to make sure that we don't hear that buzzing sound anywhere in there. Pretty good. We didn't. So we're just going to start it like a normal person would and make sure it's still working. You know, we're either going to verify that it works or we're going to break it in the process. So if jiggling the key and the fact that it smells burnt weren't enough clues that this is bad, let's try one more. We're going to take it apart and see if we can see something burnt inside. I would imagine so. Just going to pop the cover off the back of this thing. Keeps wanting to clip back together. There we go. We got both tabs. There's one left. And just peel it off of there. We need to pop the little white part off. That's those tabs that are sticking through. And clip those. And our piece falls out. And we can definitely see what's wrong with it. You can see it's burnt right on that little edge right there. And our little white piece with the contacts has a matching burn spot. It's actually plastic melted there. It was getting a little toasty. You know what we do with this?
In the pile.
There you go. I wasn't kidding. It really was quick and easy. I mean, this is so easy, you don't even have to program anything. The old school parts where you just bolted them in, plugged them in, and you were done with the job. So this is any 6 to 11, maybe 12 Honda Civic. Doesn't matter if it's an EX, LX, SI, they're pretty much all the same. And this one was pretty easy to diagnose if you're running into the same problem, because when it was doing the little buzzing thing or it wouldn't start, if you just move that key a little bit, then it would start. And you could duplicate it every once in a while. And the more you did it, the less chance you had of duplicating it, because it would get warmer. And what it was doing was just making a better contact on that switch that had the burned up contacts. So that, plus the fact that I've changed dozens of these over the years, led me to the fact that it was an ignition switch. And the parts store happened to have them in stock, so it's a pretty common failure. So hope that helps if you have this problem on your Honda Civic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.